ISA costs are about what combination of inputs we can purchase given a given set of prices and total cost. So let's think from the perspective of a hospital. This has to do with producing the patient care, and not from the perspective of the patient, but the perspective of the hospital or producer. So an ISA cost describes these things. So let's suppose the price of therapy is $200 a unit, while the price of a prescription to the hospital is $50 a unit. So we can think about what combinations are possible in order to purchase. Let's suppose we have a total cost of $5,000. So the ISA cost equation says you multiply the price of the therapy times units of therapy plus the price of the prescription times units of the prescription, and that should equal the total cost. So one way to think about this is to think about the endpoints. For example, if I had $5,000 and I didn't use any prescriptions, and the therapy is $200 per unit, how many units of therapy could I purchase? This is found from the $5,000 divided by the $200 per unit. So we can see how many units would come from 5,000 divided by 200, and I'm going to get 25 units are possible. So that means 25 therapy visits is going to yield $5,000 in total cost. Now on the other axis, I can think about another possible combination would be that I buy 0 units of therapy and I only spend the $5,000 on purchasing prescriptions. And if I did that, we have $50 times our unknown units of prescriptions equals $5,000. So if I do that, I can see that I can purchase the 100 units of prescriptions as another endpoint. So the ISA cost is the linear combination of all the purchases that would be possible with this set of prices. So you'll notice that if I look at the price ratio, if I take the ratio of prescription price to therapy price, $50 over $200, it's a 1-to-4 ratio. So that should make sense to us that I'm going to need to give up less. If I gave up 25 therapy visits, I could gain 4 times as much, or 100 prescriptions. But on a smaller level, if I gave up only 1 therapy visit, we know that's on the ISA cost that would be able to purchase 4 more units of prescriptions. So the entire slope is constant. It's a negative 1/4 slope, and it's representing the trade-off between those two inputs, and that is all determined by their price ratio. Now another thing about the ISA cost is this one obviously has a total cost of $5,000. But it could be the case that let's suppose that we are going to spend more than that. If the prices are the same and we're going to spend more than that, let's suppose we're going to spend twice as much. And I realize I don't have exact scaling here, but anytime we spend more, we'll be at a higher ISA cost, which represents higher total cost. But notice the slope stays the same because the price ratios are exactly the same. And lower total cost, similarly, would just shift in.